I'm gonna start this stream. Okay.
Oh,
Stream
Jesus Christ.
is started.
Started. It started.
Oh, you son of a bitch. See what you did there. See what you did there, man. It's not cool, man. We'll see.
Fuck. Mm.
Okay. Close. And we close. Okay. Testing. There you go. Okay. Good and in your. Oh, I gotta do this real quick. I forgot. There's a brand new installation of the operating system.
Oh my God.
Change it from.
You see what I have to deal with, everybody.
Okay. Go ahead and hit record in 3, 2, 1. Record. Test. And it sounds like it's doing it.
Check. Ew. It's just a constant.
Yeah. Launch
There's no way.
PAVU control. Don't hit stop.
Oh, well, too late.
Now you can't do it then. Never mind.
Well, I just started it again.
Well, then you got to wait because I got to do mine too.
Okay. Oh my God. Okay, hold on. Okay,
ready.
I'm ready.
Record in 3, 2, 1. Record. Test.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah, and then you launch PAVU control and the recording tab, I want to say. Recording, yeah. You should see also plugin Audacity and then change the input source there on the right.
No, I see WebRTC voice engine. Oh wait, no, yeah. There we go. Boom.
WebRTC
and
is.
I got it. No, yeah, it's fixed. Yep. Check. Oh yeah, no possibility. Well, I don't want to say no possibility. I was
going to say.
I could really peek if I want to.
Perfect.
You don't want to be around when I'm peeking.
Exactly. Okay, so this is 202, Mr. Cooper.
Is it
202? Yeah.
I believe you. I
believe you. Now you have me doubting myself.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Well,
Podnutz. See what I have to deal with, people. See how quickly it comes back.
Yeah.
Lightning. 201 is published. 201 is published. Okay, so 202. Yeah. It transition. Are ready.
Okay. Hello and welcome to Linux for the Rest of Us, episode 202. This is a show all about all things Linux, whether it's hardware, software, whatever tickles our Linux fancy. By we, I mean, of course, myself, Cody Cooper, aka Super Coop, and my good friend, the Linux maven, DoorToDoorGeek, Stephen McLaughlin. How's it going, Door?
Hey, Mr. Cooper. It's going much better now because I get to sit down and chat with my favorite, my tied for favorite fellow from the West Coast. I can't show favorites. I can't show favorites. Martin's listening.
He might be taller, but you've known me longer. Oh, and I think even though we haven't been consistent, I have a more consistent appearance schedule on this show than he does.
That there sounds like fighting words there, Mr.
And what
Cooper.
was it, like an 11-month gap for Geeksters?
No, not 11.
Man, if
Only
this mic
it was only
wasn't
like
plugged
9.
in, I would drop it on my desk right now.
I think it was a 9-month gap, but I will say he has something in the works where he is supposedly going to alleviate that, shortcoming.
So based on the fact that he's working on it and I'm not, who's your favorite in Northwest?
Oh, well, obviously, it's Aaron.
Oh my god. Okay.
No, it's Steve, Sears. I was able to hear from him for the first time in a couple months, and he's doing much better now, so I feel better.
Yes, yes. Glad to hear that Steve is back on his feet. Has all that stuff worked out. Stupid things that happen in life, but it's not about when we fall, it's about how we get up. So he's up and he's back. Although he didn't, I don't think he actually. We'll get into it. There's a story later in the show that we'll cover that brought upon that whole mess. And Aaron, let's just face it, he needs the success. He needs the acknowledgement in his life so he can have it. He can be your favorite.
Well, I'll also then let another cat out of the bag. I might have Aaron, appear on a show or 2 here in the future, but it's not this show, and it's not Android App Addicts.
Okay.
So I'll just say that. I will say there is a whole bunch of news to say in a very timely fashion in this show now, because OLF is now on our scale. I want to say like 12 days away, and when this show gets released, it's going to be less than 10 days away, I believe.
Yeah.
Um,
So Ohio Linux Fest 2016 is happening October 7th and 8th, which is Friday and Saturday. Oh, they're only doing a 2-day event this year. Did they do
yeah,
a 2-day event last year?
I think last year was their first 2-day event before they had Sunday for the diversity part of the conference, and they had a couple
Mhm.
other things going on.
Well, in the year I went, and then from what I've heard from everybody else too, and just I mean the fact that a third day of a conference at all, everybody's usually uh too
Hungover.
yeah, I was gonna say recovery mode, but yeah, let's just like cat out of the bag. Okay, well, where to go? Yeah, little worn, and honestly, all of the bigger events are happening Friday evening and then all day Saturday, which is understandable just because the day of the week. But yeah, I mean, if 2-day event's going to do them well, then more power to them. But yeah, that's happening this year, the 7th and 8th. So if you're in the neighborhood or if you have a bunch of uh, not indispensable, discretionary spending cash and just want to book a plane ticket right now, then get out to Columbus. Now, it's not happening at the convention center anymore, right? It's happening somewhere else. Oh,
Yeah.
go
Well,
ahead, sir.
the convention center is basically connected with the Hyatt and connected to the food court and connected to the brewery. Um, this year it's basically in the basement of the Hyatt, which is like an extension of the Greater Columbus Convention Center. It's going to be in not as much of a wide open area, and for the people who need rascals or hover rounds or scooters, you won't have to use as much battery to get to the conference because it's just going to be beneath the hotel.
Is this also the first year they did that, or did they do that last year as well?
Last year, no. I think they might have done it early in their career, but this is like year 13 or 14.
Mhm.
And I do believe it's twofold. It's a cost saving maneuver. Also, I believe we're going to have the availability of at least some internet access while at the conference, where in previous years you either had really, really bad service
Oh, okay.
or none.
Yeah. Yeah, because man, I'll tell you what, from past experience, securing internet for attendees of an event like this is usually two things without fail: horrendously expensive and horrendous.
Yeah, cannot argue more. Now, the obvious thing I'm going to say first is I am giving a talk. I am giving a session, not directly on Linux per se, but instead on mini computers or Pi type devices. My talk is called something like "I believe Pies are the future. Let them power them up and let them lead the way. Um, but it's all a lie. It's all a swerve just to get butts in chairs. It's really about mini computers in general. But I know if I put that magic 2 letters of PI in my talk, I'll get more likely to have people come out. Um, for the last couple of years, I've tried to give away goods, whether it be, mugs from Joe Heck, T-shirts I had made, books, old loose hardware I had that somebody might want kinda thing. But I will say this year is going to be different. I am gonna give a talk. I'm gonna give away hardware at the talk, but, Richard Hughes is also going to bring some Pi Zeros there to give away. He's been, stalking basically Micro Centers, and he literally just Google Hangout me when I said his name, like he could hear it. Um, he's gonna be giving away a couple of them because 'cause he's been buying them for like $1 a piece. But that's not really the big news. The big news is, Joe Heck from the Single Board Computer Show, the SBC show, is gonna drive up, from his house, which I know has to be every bit of like a 15-hour trek. He's going to bring buckets and buckets and buckets of swag, lots of mugs, lots of door hangers, um, stickers, all kinds of stuff he's going to bring, which is basically going to be free for everybody. Me and him are registered as media for the conference, which means we also are going to have a quiet room. I'm going to ask a couple guys if they would like to either go to talks, listen to the speaker, then when the speaker's over, ask him if he can come over for an interview into the quiet area,
Oh
or
yeah,
and
there you go.
right, or and to just randomly pick people from the crowd and ask, "Would you like to get interviewed for a podcast?" kind of thing. Also, I believe my Saturday night is going to be completely booked. Me and Joe Heck are going to have, using his verbiage, more than a couple i7 computers booted up, and Joe and I are going to basically in one night edit all of the audio from all of the speakers, so hopefully the, audio can get posted on Sunday.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, having it done and posted before you guys even leave is fantastic enough, but the fact that you guys are donating your time to get that done in that timely of a manner, that I really commend the both of you for doing that.
Well, that's all Joe Heck. Joe Heck, I don't wanna say he's the wheeler and the dealer, but he's the guy who talked to me and asked me if I would like to help, and talk to, I believe, Beth and the people there at OLF, work out a arrangement where we're gonna have power, at our booth. We're gonna be sitting at our booth right next to the free coffee, which means we should get a lot of traffic at our booth. And Joe's gonna be giving away literally hundreds of dollars worth of stuff. So to go to the conference is completely free. If you would like to go to a L- L- Linux conference that really is homegrown, that is not corporation based, but it's community based, where you can meet a whole bunch of good people, everybody from Murph's gonna probably ride his motorcycle, uh, in. We're gonna have 5150 there. We're gonna have Joe there, myself there, Stormwatch. Matthew Williams, Lord D is gonna try to make it. A couple guys from, uh, Linux Lugcast are gonna be there too. I encourage people. It's going to be a fun time. It's gonna be good people, and it's again a boatload of free swag.
Think. Anyhow, good quality mugs, good printing job on them, and the mugs you guys are gonna be giving away there are with our new logo in its glory. So yeah, definitely swing by, say hi to the guys. And yeah, if you're not familiar with Joe at all, you can follow him on Google Plus. But also, yeah, the SBC show? Is that the name of the podcast? I forget.
Yeah, it's over at, Code for Sale. That's the number 4, codeforsale.com, and it's the SBC, um, mini computer show. He's done, I believe, 2 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. It's just getting started, and let me tell you something, mini PC show on Podnutz is a enthusiast a fan-based podcast where we're like little kids, giddy, talking about these things, buying these things, playing with these things. Joe is he's a graybeard, professional grade IT professional who's forgotten more about computers than I'm gonna ever know in my career. So when you hear him talk about these computers, he's talking about them from a very hardline technical stance. Where if you want to know the nitty gritty on how these things work, what's better, what to look out for, that's the show that you want to listen to.
Definitely. Yeah. Oh, dude. Uh, yeah. Talking with him, let's see, we met him, Linux Source Northwest last year. He and his wife, Linda, great people. But yeah, you definitely you talk to him for a few minutes, you realize very quickly what you're dealing with as far as his level of understanding, which is definitely up there. So glad to hear he's going to be there. I don't know if he's been to OLF in the past, but yeah, everyone should definitely check it out. So yeah, once again, if you're in the vicinity, definitely pop by. Even if you live locally, I'm sure you can just get parking, go for the day. With around that convention center, there's also some great places to eat, great places to drink. But yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, we'll have a recap show, and I know I've been saying this for what 4 or 5 years now, but I'm going to try to make it next year. This year was particularly tight, but got out and did some stuff. But yeah, really looking forward to hearing more about this when you guys get back.
Yeah, and I'll tell everybody now. Rule number 1: don't be rude to Linda. If you're rude to Linda, all bets are off. I'm not sure you're going to live through the weekend.
But she's so sweet.
Well, I know, but that's why I'm saying you can't be rude to her. She is too nice.
No. They're both fantastic people.
Yeah.
I mean, really, really nice. Very, very outgoing, fun to talk to, very personable, get to know you real quick, almost as if you're like old friends. They put you at ease really fast. So definitely good people.
Yeah. Very good stuff indeed. And I will throw out there, late February. I believe it's February 25th through 28th. We're going to be in Boston, Cambridge area for NerdCon. I'm going to now only try to say that maybe once a month. So if you're up by that area and you want to hang out, go to John Harvard's or another fine establishment in that area. Just let us know. Podcast at LinuxForTheRestOfUs.com.
Definitely. Yeah. And if you want to buy us beers while we're out there, I'm not going to turn you away. I'm not going to turn them away.
Now,
you can just do that. That's fine with me.
well, and I'll say, if you know a place that actually has good chowder, you got to let us know because we're the locals told us to go get chowder. It was kind of horrid and not good.
It was a nightmare.
Yeah. And listen, I come from Maryland. Nobody per capita eats more seafood of all kinds than Maryland. That was not good chowder.
No, it wasn't. And then, okay, this is what I'm not going to get into it, but in too much detail because of the language involved. But let me see. It was you, myself, Russ, and Tracy, and Jonathan Nato went to this establishment that shall remain nameless. And keep in mind, Jonathan's blind. So I was asking him questions about the chowder. He's like, "Oh yeah, they have this New York style chowder. Have you heard of that? It's like pink because it has tomato in it." And as we're saying this, the waiter who sat us walks by, and when he sat us down, he was very professional, as a waiter would be. But he comes over and like his inner Boston just came out of his mouth. And he went on a bit of a tirade about how that stuff's not chowder, and just like it was like a pre-planned speech, but you could just see like the veins in his head, everything about him changed, and then he just said his piece and then walked away to the kitchen, and then came back. And he was the different person again. It was like one of the most just hilarious things that happened to us while we were out there. In my mind, it was really funny.
Yeah, if I could have stopped Jonathan from saying that ahead of time, I would have, because New York clam soup is not chowder. It's tomato soup with some vegetables and hunks of clam. Not the same thing at all. Not the same thing at all.
No.
Um, like, now, one of the things I think I vented about on this show, Cody, in the past at least, was while there are web services out there that I don't like the idea of always having to rely on an internet access to do everything I need to do, from mobile devices, from Chromebooks, from lighter things. Why can't I bring that kind of stuff into my own network? On line 80 on our notes, I cannot remember who sent me this, now, and honestly, I'm a little upset I can't remember who it was, because I would really like to give them credit. Um, it's this application that is kind of like If This Then That. If This Then That is basically a reactionary web service, and what I mean by that is you can create recipes, which is nothing more than events that cause triggers. An example is whenever I post something to Gitpocket and I tag it with Linux, that's the event. And then If This Then That reads that event, and then what it does is it takes a trigger event, which is to suck down the URL of that website that I just tagged, the name, the description, and stuff like that. And then it automatically populates a Google spreadsheet. It like puts a new row at the bottom. And that's the kind of automation where I would happily pay for this service. And I'm 99.999% sure there's still no way to pay If This Then That, which really makes me worried and concerned. I don't like vesting my workflows into systems I cannot actively support. Okay. AKA pay them money or get a copy of it myself and run it myself, which you can't do. But this application promises at least some of that type of functionality. This is called Node-RED, and it's at nodered.org. They describe it as a visual tool wiring for the Internet of Things. So you got to think of it as basically a um a um programmable interface that has a lot of drag and drop things going on in it, to where you can basically set events and triggers. Now, the difference with this and If This Then That is If This Then That already has a lot of things predefined. All you have to do is basically go and click, add to your collection and then just customize how you see fit. This is really new. This is really in its infancy. It's really like, dare I say, right after birth. It still hasn't been completely cleaned up yet. You know what I mean? Um, but this promises that same kind of functionality via a drag and drop interface. And in that drag and drop interface, you can add code snippets. I believe the major language is either Node.js, or you can use some um, Python in here too. So I gotta say, I really want some time to try to play with this, because I believe this thing could be one of those crazy, ridiculously powerful tools that in 6 months, 8 months, a year and a half, you're gonna hear all these Internet of Things, home hub pieces of hardware that are gonna have this kind of functionality baked in, aka they're gonna take a copy of Code Red or Node-RED, sorry, customize it to their own liking, and then add it to their product.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It looks interesting. I'm still a bit conflicted on IoT altogether.
As you should be,
Probably won't be. I mean, if I'm to install any of this stuff in my home, I don't even want it connected. I wouldn't mind having, somebody control the lights in my home, for instance, or as a as an independent device. But why? Yeah, this is a rabbit hole.
Well, I know, but okay, here's the thing. If you watch the video, what you find out is they're only calling it a IoT whatever because that's the latest buzz. That's the
Of course.
clickbait. Because if you watch the video, what you're seeing is nothing nothing even remotely close to Internet of Things controlling temperature gauges, lights, blinds, garage door openers, none of that. What you're seeing is automation when there's a tweet that matches a certain cryum criteria, you're getting a message or you're able to push it to a different service, whether it be email, SMS, or to like a text file. So I'm looking at it as that kind of tool. If it can do Internet of Things crap, quote unquote, aka crap quote, crap unquote, I guess that's okay. But let me, and trust me, the reason I don't need automation around my house is I already have the most robust automation tool ever created. It's called my wife and kids. I just tell
Right.
them, "Hey, hun, turn on the stove. Hey, Billy, turn off the TV." Now, unfortunately, they require a high amount of maintenance and a high
Right.
amount of it's an expensive IoT hub I have, but
Right.
dang it, nothing competes even close to it.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I inadvertently taught my son to go grab me a beer out of the fridge in my office, and I would do it. Like for instance, mommy was out of town for a week, so in the evening times, if I was just it was just me and the boys, and it was late and we weren't going anywhere, I'd be like, oh yeah, cool, and have a beer or two. So, but he got to the point where he would, and he's only 5, but he would ask me, "Daddy, do you want something to drink out of the fridge?" I'd be like, "Yeah, cool, okay, sure." And he'd bring his juice, or he'd bring me an energy drink or whatever, bring me whatever. But then when mommy got home, he asked, "Daddy, would you like a beer from your fridge?" And she looked at him, and he looked at me, and she goes, "How many times has you asked you that before?" And I said, "Never mind." So yeah, there are benefits to having children. Definitely. Yeah, and he is our TV remote control for when we
Yep.
go to bed. Yeah, he knows the input button on the TV, volume, power. What else do you need?
Yeah, I would say, honey, it's called male bonding.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I'm going to ask people not to have the preconceived notion that the only thing this does is Internet of Things, thermostat control, water sensor reading kind of thing. And just go watch the video on the website, on the main website. It's 5 minutes and 2 seconds. If you look at it, here's what I'm really asking you to do. Just look at it without preconceived ideas or notions and stop and think how this could be used, how this can be used, how you could use it. And what I'm asking is send me an email or a tweet or whatever telling me how you could see to use this tool. Because the more people that tell me good ideas, the more likely I'm going to literally take a day off of work and install this thing. Now, here's the real reason why I say that. I can't just load up my desktop and install this as a service because it won't work. It will not work. And that's because it's based upon Node.js and the Node Package Manager, NPM. Instead of saying sudo apt install application, you say sudo npm. You're using a completely different mechanism on your Debian based distribution to install all of the dependencies for this service. You're using the Node Packet Manager, and it is flaky and finicky as hell. I'm sure if I load up a Debian Jessie based Pi operating system like a Raspberry Pi 2, it's going to work just fine. But on Ubuntu 16.04, the packages are not going to match up. So I can't just load this on my laptop. I can't just load this on my desktop. I've tried Node.js packages in the past and they almost never work. So I'm not going to do it. But I am tempted to do it on a Pi, but I need reasons to do it. I need justifications to do it. And if you guys can think of any good uses out there, I beg you to please let me know.
Yes. Please do that. I'm gonna have to watch that video, wrap my head around this, because I gotta tell you, man, it's a bit above my pay grade. But yeah, we'll check it out.
Well, do you remember Yahoo Pipes? Did you ever play with that tool?
No, I know it existed, but I never did anything with it.
Right. What Yahoo, like one of the things Yahoo Pipes could do, for instance, let's say you in the past subscribed to these 20 RSS feeds, an RSS feed from Linux.com, an RSS feed from all these other
Okay.
things. You
Yeah,
could
yeah, yeah.
you could have a Yahoo Pipes mechanism set up to where you could subscribe to all 20 of those feeds, but you could say when they mention the word pirate, or when they mention the word torrent, or when they mention the word DVD in any of these feeds, send the flow down to here and shoot me an email. Everything else, just forget about. So you could set up Yahoo Pipes customizing things to take input sources like that and do some pretty dynamic things with them. To me, that this node red is now like the successor from natural selection to that kind of mechanism, which Yahoo killed about a year ago. And it was a really
Mhm.
good tool, but it did take time to sit down and learn. This looks easier to use, and by easier to use, you're still going to have to sit down and spend some time to learn it, I'm sure.
Okay. Well, yeah, check it out. I know I'm definitely gonna watch the video afterward. If it intrigued Door that much, it's gotta be something that I can get some use out of.
I don't
Speaking of
know.
some use out of, I just pasted this from above. This is something we didn't cover during the last show, but this is something pretty simple that has a very specific, well, a number of specific use cases. But let's say for whatever reason you come across an email address, whether it's one that someone gave you or you happen to uh, just come across an email address and you're not sure if it's legit or if it actually exists. How do you verify if it's real? There's a number of ways to do it. There's services. There's something through SMTP that you could do it. It's a command. Uh, it can make command or verify through SMTP. But what if you could do this through the command line door? What if you could do that?
That would be magic.
Well, call me a magician. Get me a top hat with a rabbit in it, because you can do that through the command line, and we have a link to show you. This is actually posted by Rose Hosting, a hosting company. The command line process to verify if an email address actually exists. I was trying to think of a user case that I would need this in. I can think of a couple, but if you're, especially if you're, I mean, if you're working in marketing, or if you're working in an institution where you're given an email address, but perhaps, actually, here's a fantastic use case. You're given an email address, you're corresponding with this person, this company via email. You're not getting a response, so then you're wondering, are they getting these? Are they reading them? Did I write down the address wrong? Did they send it to me wrong? What have you? You could run it through here to verify that in that specific use case, if this email address actually exists. So that's a possible use case for it. But yeah, we'll have a link in the show notes. But yeah, it's from rosehosting.com. Check if an email exists using the command line.
Yeah, to me, this is kind of crazy. This is like black magic or voodoo, because in the past, I mean, what would you do except send it an email and then just see if you get a thing back saying it doesn't exist? But not all servers do that. You know what I mean? So
Right.
you're literally just like literally throwing something in the dark against the wall.
Yeah, and I mean, in the case of, I mean, yeah, traditionally you'd assume that if it didn't exist, you get a bounce back, right? But for instance, if two letters are transposed, or if it was like a person's name and then like the number one, right? Well, it maybe they meant to write 1 2 or 1 3, or it was actually 2 instead, or whatever. All those. I'm going to do my name and then my birthday. That'll definitely won't be in the system. Oh, yeah, that's my email address now, or whatever. When you talk about, businesses, they could be spelling this part of the word differently than the other one. For instance, just earlier, I mean, we were talking about NerdCon. If you go to nerdcon.com, that is not the NerdCon that we were talking about that we're going to attend in February in Boston. It's a completely different event. So, so that's actually a legit thing. But yeah, if you have the need for checking and if an email address exists, this is definitely a tool you can put in your arsenal in order to determine if it exists or if you have it spelled correctly, so you're not sitting there wondering.
Yeah, and I'll say, here's why I really bookmarked this one. I think I bookmarked this one.
You
Um,
did.
it's because I really do need to use this, and here's the reason why, people. If you send me an email and you don't get a bounce back and you don't get a reply, there's a very good chance you typed your own email address wrong. Um, Literally, I would say every month I get 3 email addresses or so when people go to the contact page and they have to type in their name and their email address and the, you know, contents of the body and then hit send. Literally at least 3 times a month I hit reply and I get a bounce back saying email invalid. Um,
Hmm.
so this is why I need this tool because I would like to be able to just, copy paste, go to a script and then just plug it into the script, hit run to verify if it exists or not. Because some of these times I literally spend 20 minutes typing out an email, trying to make sure I'm not coming across like a jerk, because in text you can come across like a jerk really easily. Try to make sure I'm answering a question, try to make sure I'm, addressing a need, try to make sure that I'm being professional, try to make sure that I'm being nice, thanking them for the email, thanking them for the support, thanking them for listening, thanking them for downloading, thanking them for taking the time to write the email, and then I hit send and the damn thing gets bounced back.
Mm-hmm.
Which of course is, just a rant. And if you really do like rants, you should go to elementop.com. You should check out Geek Rant with Mark Cockrell, host of Android App Addicts, because that's all they do is rant. And honestly, they do a really good job at it.
I don't know if you heard that smooth transition, ladies and gentlemen, but it happened.
Well, and let me tell you something. Don't get used to it.
Trust me, I'm not.
Whatever you do, whenever you do it, don't get used to it.
Oh man, yeah, you are an enigma inside a puzzle inside of a bowl of chicken noodle soup or clam chowder. How about that? It's not even chicken noodle soup. It looks like chicken noodle soup, but it's actually a bowl of chowder.
Gotcha. Okay. This next one I wanted to talk about really quick because I hate FUD. I hate lies. I hate people spreading falsities. And in this world we live in today, too many people read a headline or the first paragraph of something and believe it wholeheartedly. Okay. Because not everything on the internet is true. And here's a perfect example. About a week ago, my feeds got completely torn up with
Yep.
everyone saying how Lenovo and Microsoft were blocking people from installing Linux on this new device. Okay, first off, let's stop and think first world problems, okay? It wasn't that long ago where you could install Linux on a very small number of devices, but then you would have to spend 2 weeks trying to figure out how to get the wireless working. Or you had to go in and you had to do some weird stuff with the um, Visa driver to get the video working right.
Mm-hmm.
Or sleep just never worked. Okay.
Or
The,
suspend and,
or
and
yeah,
wake from sleep. Yeah, totally.
right. And all those days are past us. Okay. How hard is it now to install Linux on a huge majority of devices? And the answer is it's not hard at all. Once in a while, the touch screen might not work. Once in a while, the function keys might not work how you see fit. I mean, you'll have these things happen every once in a while. But for someone to just go and write these paragraphs flaming Lenovo, who is not a golden boy, who's done plenty of things wrong in the past, okay?
Which
We
is
all
which
know
is
that.
what made this much more believable just from a headline glance. Going, oh, they're at it again.
Right. But that's not the case. The article is at mjg.59.dreamwith.org. Wherever the hell,
Rolls
Matthew
right
Garrett.
off the tongue.
Yeah, Matthew Garrett. If you've ever heard of the name Matthew Garrett, I'm
Yep.
sorry. Go to Wikipedia, look at Matthew Garrett, okay? The simple fact is nobody was blocking Linux. Just like nobody has ever purposely thought to themselves, we're going to block Linux on this device. No, companies don't think that. You know why? Because companies don't care. All they care about is money. What happened was Lenovo put in a piece of hardware in these laptops that was running a very specific version of RAID. and Linux didn't support it. Did that mean they were blocking Linux? No. That meant you stop acting stupid, you go into the BIOS, and you disable the RAID. Now, if RAID isn't able to be disabled, then you go back to your Best Buy or your Walmart or wherever you bought the device and you hand it back and say, please, sir, can I have something different? Okay. It's not anybody actively blocking anything. So these people, and honestly, this was one of those times I did not click share when I saw this headline for the first couple of days, partially because I know Lenovo's done a lot of things wrong in the past, and I know it's very easy to believe it. So I didn't click it. I didn't click share. You can check all my feeds. Not until I saw this posting. When I saw this posting, I felt better because it gave a rational reason on what people saw on those devices. And by people, it's not a popular device. A couple people maybe saw this issue. And in this goes back to Linux in 1992. You don't buy brand new form factor devices and expect everything to work great. You're a beta tester. And when you're a beta tester, you better know how to beta test or you're going to look stupid when you claim somebody's blocking Linux from being installed. That was another rant.
Yeah, I heard it.
I know. Do you have something to talk me down from the cliff, Cody?
Sure. Yeah, let me see. Well, let me just say in regards to that particular bit of business, as a devil's advocate, let's just say that they did institute this new setting to have a benefit for the Windows user, but as a byproduct that they knew that it was also going to prevent not just us install of Linux, but an installation of a different operating system, including Windows 8.1, a different version of Windows 10 or whatever, then I guess that would be a bonus on their part. But yeah, the fact that it should be easily disabled in the BIOS, and the fact that anybody in their right mind that didn't absolutely want that should immediately go back to the store if they were within the return period and within all of the return requirements, what have you. But seeing things like this crop up still have to be raised a little bit of concern, because it could be a means to an end. It could be these companies just testing to see what they can get away with. So don't completely discount it. And obviously, it's not nearly as bad as what we thought it was when we read the headline, but it still could be. It still could be widespread and worse. So take it with a grain of salt.
Right. And it's okay to have concern, and it's okay to be worried, and it's
Yes.
okay not to trust companies. Trust me, I do it every day. But why not wait for something that we in the rational world call evidence? You know what I
Right.
mean? Because trust me, I talk down about companies every day. So, and there
You
is
too, huh?
Yeah. And there is another link in the notes that I'm not going to talk about yet because I haven't heard enough of the background story. And it's supposedly Windows 10 Signature Edition is blocking the installation of Linux.
Yes.
How in the hell is an operating system going to stop you from installing something on bare metal is beyond me.
Well, yeah, I don't. Well, yeah, you're right. We need to do more research on that before we really comment on it. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I
But
don't know.
but there is
So
something good.
yeah, to get you off your rant train, fella, and to have a little bit something a little more uplifting to talk about. We were talking earlier about how speaking about OLF was very timely. That takes place on October 7th. However, there's a little bit of something happening on October 4th, and that is, of course, the new Google I/O conference 2016, where they are rumored to be, of course, unveiling. And if you haven't heard any of this, I'm not spoiling anything for you. This has been swirling around forever. A number of things, but the official unveiling of the Chrome and Android hybrid OS, which is nicknamed right now Andromeda OS. So if you have, if you've been reading anything about Chromebooks for the past few months, you've been obviously hearing that several models out in the market now and several more in the near future are going to be getting Android functionality. They'll actually have the Play Store available to be installed directly onto the machine and being able to use Android apps directly on the device, which is very exciting. However, at the Google I/O on the 4th, the new Google Pixel 3 laptop, the Chromebook, should be announced, but it'll be the first device to natively run this Andromeda OS, and it'll come out sometime in 2017. I think usually they came out in February or March, if I remember the previous release cycle of the last two Pixels. Does that sound about right?
That time sounds right, but I will say this is not Google I/O. This is just a announcement of new devices.
Oh,
Google
my
I/O
mistake.
happened in May.
Okay.
I and I'll say this: I've owned Chromebooks since I believe it was called the CR48.
Yep.
I had that thing. I had to apply to Google to basically be a beta test for that thing. I had the very first Chromebook ever distributed. Okay, I've had multiple Chromebooks. I know Chromebooks. This is, first off, this is so long overdue. It makes me sick to my stomach.
Yep.
Okay, this should have been done 2 years ago, at least. I don't know why they would even do this now, because to be honest, it's virtually too late. If you just make Android Nougat or Android Ostrich Egg, I don't know, be better at multi-window support, not just splitting the screen up into 2 sections. That's kind of weak. Okay, take a look at Remix OS or one of the other ones. Real, true multi-window support is not rocket science. Then all you have to do is take the hampered, the disabled, the gruntled Chrome browser in Android and just make it more feature-rich like Chrome, and you're done. You don't need to combine operating systems. But whatever. This might be the best thing since sliced bread and free cheese at a government line, which of course isn't good. What I'm afraid of, what I'm literally afraid of, Cody, is this is going to be the first device using the new Fuchsia Google kernel and not Linux. That's what I'm literally a little bit afraid of. I also expect this to be an extremely overpriced device.
Of course.
Minimum $500, which means I'm not giving it my money.
Oh, I don't think there's been a single one under $899 or $999.
Yeah, and the new phones
Mm.
that are coming out, I think the one price that was leaked was $649 or something like that.
Yeah, and so they're going to unify their sort of high-end brand. This is rumor, but pretty much on point. They're going to, instead of the line of Nexus devices like you've heard about in the past with the phones and the tablets, and I've had 3 or 4 of them myself, love them to death. They'll be unifying the tablet, phone, and laptop under the name Pixel, so they'll be called the Pixel phones. And actually, so rumored both of the Pixel phones are going to have a 64 gig storage minimum, and then they're going to have different price points based on the screen size, but have the exact same internals, which is really interesting.
Better.
So yeah, so well, I mean the exact same processor, RAM, everything. So think about that. If you had a manufacturer that had those exact same specifications, but maybe for $100 more, you could get a screen that's another inch bigger. Whereas some people don't like the phablets, but they don't want to, decrease the power of the device. They don't want to sacrifice that. So me, I'm phablet for life. I can't go back. I just can't. I cannot go back. So the fact that that's supposed to be unified as well is intriguing, and we have to also understand that as of the Nexus 6, really, so 2 years ago, so the 2014 devices, these aren't budget devices anymore. Whereas the Nexus 5 and prior, maybe say for some of the initial two devices, the ones made by HTC for T-Mobile, they were made at sort of, budget cost, maybe $299, $349, always under $400. To where is it a nice affordable phone? You were getting, free updates for much longer and much sooner than you would normally from a hardware manufacturer and or hampered by your carrier. So just straight from Google, a vanilla Google experience and a vanilla Android experience. But honestly, to compete in this day and age it makes sense to fit in line with the price point of, now this is more like their premier brand. Like anybody can just go buy, not even buy, but just get a Samsung, for a reduced cost, or on a plan from their carrier. So anybody can go and get one of those. But to have this premier experience and premier hardware, yeah, you're going to have to pay more. That's just how the world works. There and you almost look that in contrast now to like how OnePlus did it this time around with the OnePlus 3. It's more of a budget friendly device and lower specs. It's still a fantastic phone. Honestly, all these phones are a lot more than what we really need, but there's definitely a shift happening. So see $649 for the specs that I've seen. I mean, yeah, retail for any of the, the flagship phones, you're looking at, $699 to $899 anyway.
Well, but nobody's going to be buying those devices anymore in realistic terms. Only very few people are. I mean, you have phones out there like the Honor 8. You have phones out there like the OnePlus 3 that literally curb stomp a lot of these other flagship phones, and they're only $400.
But just as well as I do, that they could be a nickel. And if nobody knows about them, nobody's buying them.
Well, and I'm okay with only the educated people buying them. I'm perfectly okay with that.
Right.
My real gripe with the combination of the two operating systems is a couple things. One, Chromebooks are cheap. Chromebooks are affordable. Lower families, third world countries, all these other kind of people can at least try to afford Chromebooks. Android devices of a similar nature are 2 to sometimes 3 times the price. I'm not really sure why, because sometimes the specs aren't that far off, but Android type devices with that same form factor seem to cost sometimes 3 times as much. Okay, here's why it should have happened 2 years ago and not now. So now what I'm thinking is they're not going to combine both of the operating systems, but they're going to have a third operating system that is a combination of that, because you're not going to have Chrome OS on your phone. Okay. And all these schools, all these tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of schools out there that have completely turned their system around to work with Chromebooks, they're not going to want Android mixed in their experience for their students, period. So who the hell, I see this as being, dare I say, the redheaded stepchild off in the corner that the parents almost ignore. I don't even see Google in 2 or 3 years after the launch of this device still be paying that new operating system that much attention and mind. They're going to probably use it as a growing experience, but I don't see schools changing from it. I don't see phones changing from what they have. And I don't see the low price point, that desirable price point of Chromebooks, pushing any amount of users to buying a combination device that's going to cost probably twice as much.
Well, no, I agree with that part of your point, but I disagree with you in the fact that you don't think that there's necessarily a market for this and it will die on the vine. The one thing that we don't know, and then we won't know until it's announced on the 4th, is how this fits in with their overall plan, what the actual benefits are of it, and how it's going to work. Because when you're talking about integrating just the Play Store, let alone any other benefits of Android into Chrome OS, that's a huge deal. It's a huge amount of more access to forget about what is available on the Play Store now, which is already millions of apps, but what kind of apps are going to be written knowing that they can be used on this device? What's that secret sauce that we're missing right now, not knowing exactly how it's going to work? I mean, a lot of it, they're talking about, a lot of the convergence where you won't need. I mean, if you're talking about being able to do HDMI out off of the phone and have it as a computer, which you can already do in a variety of ways, but I honestly think that that's where it's going down the line. Because let's face it, we're already using our mobile devices way more than we are desktop machines anyway. At least the majority of people are. I certainly know that's the way that I've evolved into the past 3 or 4 years. But yeah,
Well,
not knowing exactly the exact intricacies of it as of right now. I mean, in a week we'll know. But right now, as it stands, it's very enticing. And everybody who owns a Chromebook, if you ask them right now, because I mean, there's only I think 4 or 5 models on the market right now that actually have the Play Store functionality. But I would guarantee you that if you said, "Hey guys, how bad do you really want the Play Store right now?" And they'd be like, "Oh, I really want it bad." Okay, well, what if we could resell you your laptop? I mean, your Chromebook that you have right now, and it was $100 more, the same specs, but you had access to the Play Store. Would you buy it? And most, I would say, a lot of people would say yes. Now, not necessarily in the educational sector because they're buying thousands of those machines. No, hold on a second.
They will say yes, but then they'll be really mad in a couple of days when they find out the insane number of apps that won't run on it.
Like what?
Everything. Nothing will run on it. This is the same reason why Android TV has never taken off at all. I hate to use this word. It's fragmented. People have to write apps specifically for this device. And if you don't support the ratio, the screen size, the resolution natively in your app is either going to run like crap, or it's going to look like crap, or you just won't be able to install it.
I can speak to the resolution being a problem. Yeah, because I used to use for a while there, I used my Nexus 5 actually, which was the last Nexus device that could do HDMI out, you SOBs, as a mobile computer for HDMI monitors. And I could say, yeah, I ran into a lot of what you were saying.
Right. And like, what can you not do on a Android tablet that you can do on a Chromebook? And typically the only answer is stuff like longer battery life, better for long form typing kind of thing. If that's all you're going to gain by combining the two, and you're going to lose a lot of app functionality, which you will lose a lot of app functionality, in at least if history is any example, anytime someone comes out with a different device, a different form factor device, a different interface to a device, like, I don't know, the Ouya or something like that, they just can't take off because people have to write apps specifically for it. Now, I'm sure Google will. And trust me when I say this, part of the reason I'm mad is I wanted this device 2 years ago. I would have bought one day 1 2 years ago. I'm not going to spend $799 for one, and I don't know if I would spend today $400 for one of these. Lenovo is coming out in October.
How dare you?
I know, with a yoga book. It's thinner than a pencil when it's closed. No, I'm sorry. It's thinner than a AAA battery, I believe is what they said, when it's
here
closed.
We go.
That's how thin that thing is. It has 2 screens, your regular screen, and then your keyboard is basically a touch screen.
Yeah, that abomination. You can that deserves to be set on fire. Get your Pixworks ready, folks.
And it's going to be $400. Okay. I don't know what I can't do on Android that I can do on a Chromebook. I say that owning multiple Chromebooks. I have one upstairs that's an i5.
Well, okay, but that specific statement there, what can't I do on a Chromebook that I can do on Android? You're thinking in general terms, as most people would. Now, can I do word processing? Can I do internet browsing? Can I do search? Can I communicate? But that's my argument for it, is that there needs to be killer apps. Like, honestly, if I mean, I have an awful Chromebook right now, but if I had one, like let's say the Acer Chromebook 14, which is one of the the R11, yes. So the R11, which is one of the Chromebooks that has the Play Store on it right now. If it was in front of me right now, and me being me, I would love to just shut you up and prove you wrong. I couldn't think of an app that I would want to install on right away to go, Door, do you see this right here? Boom, drop the mic. I don't know.
I know,
I
but
don't know. I don't know an app that I would that would be. I don't know the first app that I would install on it. I just don't.
and like here's the kicker. Google just killed their apps in Chrome. You can't do apps in Chrome anymore. Now all you can do is plugins or add-ons. They killed the entire app ecosystem.
And
And
probably
then
intentionally knowing this was coming. It makes sense.
and then two, here's the real kicker. If you want to do professional grade word editing on a Chromebook, it costs you money. If you want to do it on Android, it's free. Microsoft Office, Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, Microsoft Excel is all free to install on Android. You want to run it on Chrome OS, you have to have an Office 365 paid subscription. So not only there are things that I I can do on Android, I can do them for less on Android. I'm really interested, and honestly, I hope I'm completely wrong. I hope this device is successful. I hope I see a bunch of $300-$400 and a couple $500 versions of this device in the next year come out because honestly, 16 gig of RAM, 16 gig of RAM. My goodness, how snappy would that thing be? A
Big nut.
Wacom pen that you can use with it. Now that could be really cool. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'm I'm highly skeptical, which honestly I don't feel like I normally am, but maybe I'm lying to myself and I always am.
These are just more kids stepping on your lawn and you don't like it. Google sneaking on your lawn door. You're getting defensive. You have your hand on the shotgun. You're bringing up your sights.
Well, I like my lawn the way it is. It's
Well,
pretty.
well, let's transition into something a little more upbeat and positive, shall we?
Okay.
So we know who Ike Doherty is.
Oh, you mean that racist guy from? Oh, wait, no, that's a different guy. Oh, you're
Nope,
talking
no.
about the good guy, the
I'm
nice
talking
guy.
about the guy who streams Left 4 Dead on
Yes, he does. Yes,
on
he does.
YouTube. Seriously, if you know anything about Ike Doherty, the creator and maintainer, and he has a team of people working with him now, but of Solus OS and many other things in the past. Check out his YouTube streams of him playing video games. He just recently kind of rediscovered gaming, and I've never heard someone politely apologize to a zombie on stream before until I saw his. As an aside note, it was quite hilarious. However, so if you've ever been to the website freedompenguin.com, lots of good Linux articles. This one in particular, from one of their writers. I'm just going to kind of read the tagline here. So Solus OS stands on its own. He starts it off with, and Michael Huff is the author. He starts the article off with, if I had to pick one operating system of the year, I would be picking Ubuntu Mate 16.04 if Solus OS hadn't come along and stolen the title.
Oh, sick burn.
Yeah. You heard that, Martin Wimpress? Maybe.
Oh my goodness.
What? Yeah, I'm just,
man.
Look, this isn't my opinion. I'm just quoting Michael Huff. Okay. Anyhow, Martin's a good guy. Just chill out.
Wow.
I read this. It's because here's the thing. Like I've met Ike. I've interviewed Ike. I like him as a person. His vision for this, and this is 2 years removed from when I talked to him about it. And it's burgeoning. I mean, it's really, really getting a lot of traction. People are liking it. But when I read that line, I just said to you, I was just like, wow. And then I read the whole article. It's and the diehard gaming geek in me too. They show a screenshot of Solus OS, right?
Oh yeah,
with a Warhammer 40K high resolution wallpaper background with an ultramarine on the cover. I mean, it's just amazing. So many countless hours with those damn miniatures and painting. But yeah, so fantastic there. But yeah, check this article out if you haven't installed it, Solus OS, or haven't installed it in a while, because they're doing constant updates, all sorts of new iterations, new features, making it stronger literally every week. In fact, if you follow if you're a Redditor, and you follow the Linux subreddit, they're posting updates on there too, doing installs and updates that way. So definitely check it out. But definitely check out this article. We have a link in the show notes at Freedom Penguin, which I think I've forgotten I was familiar with it. I think I read something on this a while ago and I'd forgotten about it, so I bookmarked it. But yeah, definitely be a good resource for all sorts of other Linux news. But yeah, had you had a chance to read this article yet, Door?
Read.
Oh, geez, that's right. Had you had, excuse me, have you had a chance to have your non-Andromeda OS Android partition dictate it to you, voice or text to voice?
First off, you kid around. I had my Git Pocket read it out to me. Okay, now come on now. There's no reason to be. There's no reason to be insulting. Okay.
Okay.
I
well, no. Here's the thing. If I wrote an article like 10 paragraphs long, you still wouldn't read it.
I might
go on. No,
I could.
No, you could. No, I know you can.
I could,
but you wouldn't, and you won't.
I might.
So, what did Git Pocket tell you about this?
It said really good stuff in a really fancy British accent.
Oh,
I'm not going to lie. I have not installed Solus now for probably 10 months, and I feel dirty. I feel literally disgustingly dirty just saying that because there's no doubt in my mind, Ike Doherty, I'm not going to say he's pouring his soul into this operating system. I will say I'm sure there's few maintainers out there with as much mental acumen and remaining a human being, a real life, tangible, nice guy or a nice person working on something as dedicated as he is. So I really do publicly apologize to him for not installing it. Now I got to figure out what device to install it on, but I will give it an install. I will give it a go. I will give it a try, and I will love it. I just got to get used to that launcher, the desktop sidebar thingy that pops out. I just got to get used to that. That's all. I just got to get used to that. Now
you can do it.
I know I can, but I'm not sure.
Here's the thing: as far as self-improvement goes, number 1 on the top of your list, install Solus OS. Number 2, try reading some news articles. Just one paragraph at a time.
Okay, yeah, sure, yeah. I feel like a jerk. I will say that because I forgot to say this.
What?
Because I forgot to say this earlier.
Oh, here we go.
I just put a link in the notes, Cody. I believe it's a link to a YouTube channel, line 85, because that's the quickest way I could find it. Right here in this YouTube link, it has links to his RSS feed, so you can listen to this in audio if you want. MRP Tech Reviews sent me an email like a week and a half ago asking me, please take a look at my stuff and rate it and review it. Tell me what I'm doing right. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Only if you have time. He was ultra polite about it. And I get them from time to time. So I did in typical fashion. I went to the RSS feed. I downloaded every episode of his show. I watched a couple YouTube videos. I don't like watching certain stuff on YouTube, like Raspberry Pi cluster videos. I can't watch them. There's something about them. I can't watch them. I don't know what it is. I listened to this podcast, and I can tell you, in the 27 episodes he has out so far, he has already grown more than like my son has since he's born. And you know what I mean? He's grown a lot, and he does, I believe, 2 complete episodes on Solus OS, one of them on Arch Linux, I believe one on Arch Linux. And then he will spend the whole episode talking about the Mac announcements. Then he'll spend a whole another episode talking about Windows 10 Anniversary Edition. This guy talks about anything tech, is what I'm going to say. And he's doing really good. And when he talked about Solus OS, I don't even know how much he knows about Ike. I got the impression he really didn't know really anything about Ikey. He just knew the distro for what it was, and he spoke unbelievably high about Solus OS as well. I mean, everybody I know who's tried it has. And I'm going to ask everybody, the YouTube link is going to be in the notes. I'm going to ask you if you like tech related content on YouTube, click the link, click scribe. There really wasn't much I could tell Matt to do better because he's already doing, I think, a lot of stuff really good. The only tips I had were little things, this with the logo, this with the timing of that, because he's doing so much things right. It really was hard to find stuff to critique him about. But
Oh, I'll find some things.
I'm sure you will. I'm encouraging people go check it out. Email him. There's nothing more to help new podcasters than just emailing him, communicating with him. If you like what he's doing, telling him what you like about it. If you don't like what he's doing, tell him what you don't like about it. Because everybody has room to grow and nothing helps like just a simple email, period. And I just got to say this. I did put the proposition out there. I propositioned him, my lady. Um, I like I like what he's doing so much. I actually asked him if he would like to join Podnutz. He gave me a definite, I have no idea kind of thing in return. And I told him, I said, I'm not going to pressure him. You can email me all the questions you want. And there's no, I'm not going to act differently. If you never join, I don't care. I like what you're doing. And I just want to encourage you to keep it up. It's just good stuff. And it's so rare for me to find genuine and honest, real people talking about their passions. I'm bombarded from every angle with 3-minute ads for home delivery soup. And I'm bombarded with 3 minutes of how this bed is so fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be a customer. I'm not a customer. I'm a podcast listener. If you want customers, I don't know. I don't know what to tell people, but just produce good content is all I want. Stop stopping every 20 minutes to pitch me something. Rant done.
Truer words.
Yeah, he's a really good guy. Really nice guy. Really good content. Please go check it out.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. And I mean, it looks like he already has quite a few videos up. And to be honest, I mean, people have aspirations, to do this or to do that. But when it comes to content creation and when you get out there, some of these channels don't have the best quality, and then there's huge gaps in between releases of content. Really dated stuff, but yeah, he looks like he has a good start going. So yeah, I'm always looking for, and here's the thing, I'm consuming a lot more tech video stuff rather than just audio I do in my car, but like if I'm on break or if I'm just in the morning, like I gotta get my mind going. If I'm watching a video in the morning, it helps me get started, so I try to do tech stuff in the morning to wake me up, or I'll do tech reading at night, which definitely puts me to sleep. But yeah, definitely check him out. What is his name again? Oh, darn it.
I'm not sure if he says it on the channel, so I'm not going to say it again. MRP Tech Reviews. And he does an episode on OBS. He does an episode on oh god, the audio editor that scares me.
Q Tractor?
No, I use Q Tractor all the time. Outdoor.
Ardor, yeah.
It just scares the hell out of me.
So he has okay, this guy just earned some points with me. He installed Solus OS on a Acer Chromebook 720.
Yes, and he said he never had the Chromebook run so good.
Wow, that means okay, because I have that, dude. My C710, I thought it was dead. It's back to life. I'm honestly thinking about buying an SSD, slapping it in there, gluing the panel back on instead of just using the Gorilla Tape, and just running it until it actually catches fire.
Sounds good to me.
So if I'll install Solus OS on it, because that would be ideal, because I can carry that thing around with me everywhere. I'll have to put new stickers on it. You have any stickers you can send me to put on the cover of it in the resurrected version of the C set? I never officially named it either. Next show, I'm going to officially name my almost 5-year-old Chromebook now because it won't die. In fact, if you have an idea, not you, Door, if you guys have an idea, hold on, what I should name, like you name a ship, like, oh, that's Myrtle, or what? That's a terrible example, but how you like name things. If you have an idea for a name for my Chromebook, my Acer Chromebook C710, hit me up on Google Plus. You can. No, don't send an email. Just hit me up on Google Plus. You can hit me up on Twitter to @Cody Cooper. I'd be interested to hear your ideas because I think maybe not next week, but the week after. Let's just say by the end of October, I will officially name, and I'll put photos up. We'll have a 5-year anniversary. Actually, yeah, we'll have a big to do about me naming my Chromebook and what I'm gonna do to soup this baby up. Some people like to, fix up old cars. Or in the case of Russ Winter, he used to fix up old chainsaws. I'm going to fix up an old Chromebook and put this girl back to work. That sounded way worse.
To me, the name's obvious.
No, what is it?
Jesus. It came back from the dead. Jesus. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
You got any more links you want to do this week, Dor?
No, I think I kind of ran the gambit. I was definitely too gruntled. I need Martin around is what I need. You're like the yin and the yang.
He's definitely an equalizer. I thought of Martin yesterday when I went to purchase a alcoholic beverage at the grocery store, and all I saw were IPAs.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying this right now. I want this on my tombstone. I want, like when if you see people quoted on the internet, it's like they kind of, what is it? They call it like the Oprah Winfrey lens, like the friggin' like the soft focus that you see on Oprah all the time. Not anymore. She's not on the air anymore. Go Google, go hop on YouTube, watch the Oprah Winfrey interview. It's like soft, especially when she was interviewing ladies. It's soft focus, adds a little more fuzz to the image. Anyway, I don't even remember.
Where are you going with this?
Jesus, where was I? Oh yeah, okay. So if there's a picture of me, that's gonna be a quote online, like me, soft focus, like and then the quote appearing underneath my face. It's this: IPAs are the dandelions of beer.
The dandelions of beer.
They're everywhere.
They are. Well, right now they are. In this moment in time, they are.
Oh my God, they're just. Oh yeah, no. I'm seeing more IPAs, more utilization of chocolate outside of stout. Stout, porter, chocolate, that makes sense.
What about pumpkin spice?
You can shut up when it comes to that garbage. Did you? No. I saw a Belgian white chocolate beer.
Interesting.
No,
it's
an abomination. It needs to be taken out in the parking lot and put flames on it. That and a lot of utilization of berries. I'm just not for it. Dennis Leary had over 20 years ago, had a great rant about beer and berries and
and maple nut crunch coffee.
That's right. Yeah, it's all coming full. Yes, exactly. It's all coming full circle.
It is.
Yeah.
I think somebody spilled some maple syrup in my coffee.
Yeah, and a lot of other words we can't say.
No, that's the new coffee of the month. It's maple nut crunch. Yes. Pull up your pants. Yes. I have seen that sketch a couple times.
Oh man, wow! Over 20 years ago. That's sick.
Yeah. Well, what I'll leave people with, if you want sick and old, I dare you. I double dog dare you to watch a movie called Mazes and Monsters.
Mazes and Monsters.
It was Tom Hanks' first movie.
What?
And I'm going to tell you guys right now, the movie is completely now taboo for a completely different reason. The climax of the movie, he's on the top of the Twin Towers in New York
Oh.
City. Because this is
How
back in
have I never
1982.
heard of this?
Because nobody has heard of it. Okay, I
No,
can't
but
remember.
I'm a big pre. What was the one I didn't like? And I didn't like. I hate a lot of his movies, but like basically, I'm a fan of '80s Hanks.
Oh man, you gotta tell me. I used to watch the show Bosom Buddies and think it was the best thing ever.
Yep,
Okay,
Splash, Man with
yeah.
What Red
Um,
Shoe.
the Little Big movie.
Big was all
Yeah,
right.
big. It was just a joy to watch him.
Yes.
But this movie
Bachelor
has
Party.
Party, but this movie has none of that. Is what I'm going to say. None of it. None of it. I tell you. There is a guy in it though. He's a co-star. He almost every scene's wearing a hat. And in a lot of movies in the '80s where this guy was in it, he wore a hat. And I don't know what it is. I guess it was. I guess he was trying to make it his shtick. If you actually sit down and watch the movie, it's first off, you're gonna have to see the guy at least 20 times before you recognize him because the quality is so poor
No,
because it was literally like a VHS.
don't tell me who it is. I bet I see the guy right away and I know exactly who it is. And you're gonna get a Voxer message at
I
3
bet
in
you're
the
not.
morning.
You're not.
I bet I will.
The quality's gonna be too bad. You're gonna have to see him a couple times close up
No,
before you see him.
no, you underestimate my abilities, sir.
It never came out on DVD.
You got to forget, man. I watched a lot of these through bootleg cable, like through the snow on the screen.
Yeah, that was back when you had better eyes too there, brah.
Are you done?
Yep. Stormwatch in the chat looks like he's going to watch Mazes and Monsters as well. Good luck.
Oh, I'm gonna, and I'm gonna know who that guy is right away.
Well, congratulations. What do you want? A cookie? I don't know.
No,
I don't,
you can
great.
kick me
That's
some
great.
shekels toward my
That's
my
fantastic.
Chromebook upgrade fund.
You ain't not if it's a Pixel 3. You can go on your own. Man.
No. Dude, did you not just listen to the whole? Of course you didn't.
What?
Where can we find you online?
Anywhere.
It's like a bad marriage now, folks.
Wait a minute. Am I Fred Costanza? Or am I the wife? Because I kind of want to be the wife. I'm just saying.
What? Well, I just had to censor like 3 snap responses to that.
And that's why I did it.
Use
Serenity now! Serenity now!
Where's my pole? Where's my aluminum pole? Okay. Oh my god. Okay.
I love you, Cody.
Yeah, ditto, brother. You might be able of that pig chowder. We'll talk tomatoes. Folks, it's been a pleasure. Please review these links. We handpicked them out of a list of much larger links to talk about this week. Really looking forward to that Google announcement. You want to hit me up? Google Plus is pretty much the best place. I'm answering a lot of Twitter. I have a lot more people following me on Twitter. I really do appreciate that. Let's have some big conversations there. Got some other things in the works, but yeah, you want to hit me up on Twitter or Google Plus. Is pretty much the best place to do. If you absolutely want to send me an email, Cody@podnutz.com. Appreciate the correspondence, but yeah, seriously, think of what I'm gonna name my resurrected Chromebook. I'll take photos. We'll document the whole process and hope that it lasts a little while longer. Thank you very much for listening once again this week. We're going to keep this show and this ship moving forward into the night. But as always, don't forget that one important thing, and that is that Linux is not just for the rest of us, it is for all of us. Good night. Okay.
Tube of Eunice. Stop. Thank you guys for coming out.